Wowzers. Hi, Charlie. Hi, Chef Ken Patrick. Lorato. Hey, babe. Thank you for joining us. Or me. I'm not I'm not the queen. Hello, Natalie. Hello, Praktik. Markinson. Cannon Shooter. Oh, there's loads of people joining. Trippier. Hello, Janice Pooh, the full belly blogger. How you doing? Jim Kirshner. Hi, Jim. Waving. The full belly blogger. Yes. I thought I'd dress up for the occasion. You know, why not? Maps. Hey, Baxter Speakeasy. How you doing? Hello to Akron, Ohio. Hi, everybody. So, there's 69. That filled up pretty quick. So, I think that's enough people for me to start yabbering on. So, yeah, my name's Zoe Adjonyoh. I am a chef, a writer, a speaker on topics of the intersections between food, culture, identity, and politics. I have a cookbook called Zoe's Ghana Kitchen. I have a food business and brand called Zoe's Ghana Kitchen. I'm very fluid with my branding there. So for about the past 12 years, I have been promoting and evangelizing on the fantastic ingredients and flavors of West Africa, and trying to get people to engage with those ingredients and flavors and open a door through food to the culture of West Africa generally, and then use that food as a conversation for wider things. James Beard, I had the honour and privilege of cooking at James Beard for the Icon dinner in 2018, thanks to Leslie. So, this is an institution in America, and I'm very privileged to be given the space that I have right now to talk to you all. So, what am I going to talk about? I'm going to talk about me, innit? Let me talk to you about my cookbook. How about that? So, this is the original edition, 2017. Hardcover. If you have the original, you will have this beautiful fabric textured cover. So Zoe's Ghana Kitchen is a book of traditional recipes remixed for the modern kitchen, and this is very much, it's actually been re-released in the UK, I should say, with a new cover. Has my face on it this time. Still, it's the same book, different introduction, different cover, but if you're an OG, I love you, because this is also beautiful in its texture. But yeah, so this book is really an introduction to Ghanaian flavours and cuisines. It's really me trying to get people, it's very much a personal journey. My relationship with Ghana and West Africa is that my dad's Ghanaian, my mum's Irish, so I have this dual heritage, and food was really important in my house growing up in terms of nourishment and taking my parents back to their respective homes in a pretty hostile UK environment. My parents came to the UK when they were teenagers in the 70s, and it was a time when there were still posters everywhere of no blacks, no Irish, and no dogs. So all of those things inform my food and cooking, and they have an impact on who I am as a human and how I cook and what I cook. I also have a spice shop at Ghana Kitchen, so zoesghanakitchen.co.uk, and there I'm just trying to introduce people to specifically the single origin spices, ingredients, things like dawa dawa, grains of paradise, grains of Salem, all these beautiful aromatic herbs that I love to play with all the time, and I want the people to engage with those, but I also want people to engage with the producers of those ingredients, and I want to have a short supply chain, so a sustainable supply chain, so that I know that I'm dealing directly with my suppliers, and I know that the farms are getting what they deserve in terms of the money for the ingredients, and then I feel good about selling them to you guys, because I've spent a long time promoting the ingredients to then realise that actually West African farmers are being priced out of the market to be able to grow and to sell and to export. So I really want to encourage people in their shopping, especially chefs, to be very, very responsible when they're sourcing their ingredients, and look at the supply chain. I've got some instructions to follow, so let me just check that I'm following the instructions. I mean, it pretty much says just chill out and tell people about yourself. Yeah, how I started my career. Okay, so the long short story is, in 2010, I came back from America. I'd been traveling around the States for a few months on Amtrak, and I had an amazing time, and I used up all my money, and I came back broke. And at that weekend I came back, or not long afterwards, there's a festival where I live in London, Hackney Wick, or there used to be, called Hackney Wicked, and thousands of people were pouring into this like trendy enclave that was, well, it wasn't a trendy enclave then. Hackney Wick was, you know, it was like Brooklyn 25 years ago. There wasn't really anything there. Nobody wanted to go there, apart from like, you know, truly creative people who needed cheap rent to be able to make work. And I was part of that community, and I was very fortunate to be part of that community. Anyway, thousands of people, nowhere for them to eat. So I thought, let me make some peanut butter stew and make some pocket money. So this is a dish, you know, that went on to become a signature dish in my Brixton restaurant, but it's really the food of my childhood. It's like this beautiful, big, steaming pot, piquant, spicy, savoury. It's got all the things going on. It smells fantastic. And when you eat it, it's literally, I've always described it this way, it's like being, you know, it's 1,000 hugs. It's just pure love when you eat that. And my friend made a sign saying Zoe's famous peanut butter stew, obviously famous only to me and my friends, but, you know, people didn't know that. And what it created was, you know, basically people loved this food, the plantain as well, and it created this, a really lively, beautiful social situation outside my front door. But more importantly, I guess it threw up a lot of questions because people didn't know where Ghana was. People definitely hadn't heard of some of the foods I was talking about. But at the time, it didn't feel like it was a question for me to solve because I had no intention of being a cook, chef, caterer or restaurateur. I was destined to be a writer in my eyes. But so what I did is I took email addresses and told people that if I did it again, then I'd let them know. So the following year, so a year passes by and I do my introduction to my MA course in creative writing at Goldsmiths. And we did it again, and we called it Zoe's Ghana Kitchen, and we turned my apartment into a restaurant. So I went down to Ridley Road, which is a local African market near me, got all the ingredients, bought African fabrics. My friends helped me build loads of tables and chairs. I went to charity shops and collected, you know, secondhand cutlery and tableware and things like that. And we made it look and feel like a restaurant. I created a Zoe's Ghana Kitchen playlist on Spotify, which is still there if anybody wants to check it out. The playlist is also, some of the playlist is also in my cookbook, because I have a section of music to cook to and music to eat to. And yeah, this weekend happened, Hackney Wicked happened, and we sold out, and it was loads of fun. And this kept happening, but I kept denying the cause, and I tried to move to Berlin, and then, you know, to cut a long story short, the universe drew me into this game of hospitality and catering. I fought very hard against it, but in 2012 I decided that, yeah, this was a business, because I was hopping between Berlin and London cooking, and it was just ridiculous. So I came back and, instead of moving to Berlin, decided to start this business called Zoe's Ghana Kitchen, and I created the mission statement of bringing African food to the masses, because what was clear to me is that people couldn't connect with the food because it wasn't available to be connected with. So I created spaces through catering, street food, supper clubs, residencies, where people could have, you know, an enjoyable contemporary space in which to enjoy the food. And over time, you know, when I started cooking, I had this handful of recipes that my dad had cooked for himself, but I kind of muscled my way in to find out what he was up to over the years. And so when I started, I had this handful of traditional recipes, and I went on after a trip to Ghana in 2013 to where I kind of deepened my knowledge of the ingredients, but also found a new relationship to them, because, you know, I discovered things like the 3 different women in my grandmother's house all had their own particular spin on jollof, for example, that famous West African one-pot dish. Some people hate me describing it as a one-pot dish, but that is essentially what it is. And yeah, so I came back with this license of realizing that there are sort of nuances between households, and definitely nuances between tribes. And it gave me a bit of license to explore the cuisine in London with what was relevant around me as well. So that encouraged me to take a more contemporary take on it, and sort of not reinvent but reimagine some of the dishes for a different or a more, you know, a Western audience, obviously, because I lived in London, but also a contemporary dining scene. And so, you know, I had to reconfigure portions, I had to reconfigure presentation, and I also wanted to look at, what other ways could we use those amazing ingredients, because I didn't feel that necessarily all the time that we were getting the best out of them from some of the more traditional dishes, But anyway, so I've had a lovely time for the last 10 or 12 years traveling the world doing this, with supper clubs in Russia, Berlin, France, Ghana, America, all over the UK. As I say, I won an award, an Iconoclast Award in 2018, which allowed me to cook at James Beard, and I cooked at the Culinary Institute of America that same year, which was a big year for me. This is also a big year for me, and it's only just begun. So anyway, enough of me rambling on. I wonder if anybody has a question. And I also wonder, who's in the room now? Oh my goodness. Love the yellow. Thank you very much. Marissa Dobson. Oh, Leslie. Yes, she's a queen. Gorgeous book. Thank you so much. Is there any real salmon? I love that. Is there any real salmon? My auntie calls mackerel, and I think a lot of people in Ghana call mackerel salmon. I'm not sure where that came from. Yeah, but that's a funny question. Spices for the peanut butter stew. Do you have my cookbook? Somebody's putting here, can you say by rights? By rights. Where's a good place to learn to be a restaurant chef in a short period of time? I wouldn't know about that. I mean, I think that you should do some training if you want to be a restaurant chef specifically. Find a culinary course online or do a stage. I mean, my feeling is that the fastest experience is experience. So get into kitchens ASAP. There you go. People are sending me requests to join. Peanut butter and jelly. Not so much for me. Peanut butter all day long. Jelly, not so much. Long-winded answer. No, that was pretty short answer, actually. What is the most important food book, other than yours, that you think every food enthusiast... Oh, that's a good one. That's a great question. I have... does anybody know The Whole Okra? I mean, maybe you don't, but there's a beautiful book called The Whole Okra, and I would encourage anyone who has a position on okra that isn't one of enjoyment to check out that book, because I think it will really show you how expansive that plant is, and you can learn some amazing things. Did you know that okra is part of the same family as a marshmallow, for example, as is hibiscus? Hibiscus and okra are cousins. Anyway, okra, there's hundreds of varieties, hundreds of colours. It's a beautiful ingredient, and I wish people would use it more and think more about different ways of cooking with it rather than just plonking it into stews. I'm not a fan of the mucus pods there. What would be your career path if you could not be in the food industry? Well, writing was always the thing that I thought I was going to do. So I wanted to be sort of, I wanted to be Audre Lorde or, Black Sontag. That's what I would have wanted to have been. Please add me to the live. I'm actually your biggest fan. Let's have a look at that. Where would I travel to right now to eat? I would go to Omar Tate's residency at Blue Hill Farm if I could. Laguna Beach loves okra. Good for you, Laguna Beach. I don't think I can add people to this live, so I do apologise if you are. Hello, Saudi Arabia. Thank you for joining us. Spices for peanut butter stew. Okay, so my spices are pretty simple, actually. It starts with, I have some Scotch bonnet, it definitely has to be in there. Ginger has to be in there. I like to add grains of salem. Obviously, we're going to be using onion. I use chili powder, extra hot. I also use some hot curry powder, which isn't super traditional, but my dad always used it, so I do. Paposhito, which is a little green, round, cherry-looking, not cherry-flavoured. Be mindful of that. It's paposhito. It's a really thyme green chili that's beautiful. Also known as Patti LaBelle. No, not Patti LaBelle. That's a music artist. What is it? La Petite Belle. La Petite Belle, I think. If you can't get it, I would suggest using sort of a green habanero or something like that to get a similar vibe. Say word in Arabic. I don't speak Arabic, I'm afraid. If you could cook one meal right now, what would it be? I mean, I'm pretty tired. I've been up since 5 a.m, so I'm not that keen to cook. So it would have to be something fast and easy. I'm going to say I'm going to cheat with some dumpling wrappers, and I'm going to make some suya beef dumpling because I have some suya sitting on the side. Suya beef dumplings I'm going to have. Favourite music video? Anything by Rihanna or Beyonce. Where are you from? I'm from London. Any suggestions on how to eat more veggies? What does that mean? Do you not have access to vegetables, or do you want to know about interesting vegetables, or you want to know new ways to eat? I'm not sure. That's a very wide open question. Start buying more veggies would be the obvious answer, but if you want more inspiration of how to enliven your vegetables, then, I always encourage people to, through Ghana Kitchen Shop, when we're giving people application ideas, I encourage people not to think of the ingredients as only specific to Ghanaian dishes. So, things like suya is an amazing, smoky, deep, peanutty, robust blend that you can use on meats, but also on hardy root vegetables when you're grilling, baking, and barbecuing, things like that. So I always think of it, and even a jollof seasoning, I use that in the same way as someone might use Cajun spice. So I don't only use it to make jollof. I'm opening an English pub in DC. What's the 3 things you'd like to see on the menu? An English pub. English pubs in America that I've seen haven't fared very well, so I wish you all the best. The thing with what you're going to need to do with your pub is have a strong drinking culture, because that's what's dependent on a successful pub. On the menu, you're going to have roast beef and Yorkshire pudding, I'm afraid, on a Sunday for sure. You're going to have good old fish and chips, or, some modern version of that. And toad in the hole. Yeah, there's some classic British favourites that you would see on most, maybe not gastro pubs, but pubs for sure all across the UK. You mad cute, you single. Oh, that's very sweet. Thank you for that. I'm married actually to a beautiful woman, Sarah Held. Dick Burrs, what would be your final thing to say to humanity before you pass? Oh, wow, that's an amazing question, Dickie Burrs. The final thing to say to humanity before I pass. Thank you for the experience. That's what I would say. What else? Sounds perfect with a bottle of... Oh, yeah. I'm going to London. Where would I be the first stop before I eat? Please check out Coco. It's a new West African opening in London. Or check out Stork in Mayfair, or check out Chuku's in Tottenham. Or, there's lots of amazing new West African openings in the last year or so please check them all out. What inspires you to do what you love? Passion. I love to share my knowledge. I love to share what I find exciting. And, that's what fuels what I do, connection and passion of sharing. Your favourite uncommon kitchen tool. So my favourite uncommon kitchen tool would be a sanka. I mean, it's common in Ghana, but not necessarily common anywhere else in the world. But an asanka pot is this beautiful sort of round pestle. It's like a pestle and mortar. We have a thing called a tapali that we use to... actually, I can show you. Why don't I show you? Hang on. Anyway, a pestle and mortar, but you can grind spices in it, but it's made of clay, so that means it can also sit on heat, so you can heat the spices while you're grinding them. But you can also grind anything in it, like we grind salsas and mirepoix, that kind of thing in there. But also it's used as a service dish. So when you're eating, for example, banku or fufu, which stew, it's often served in a sanka pot. Anyway, they're beautiful to look at, and they're super versatile because you can grind in them, cook in them, and eat out of them. And they're just crafted so beautifully. Look at this. So this is a small one. You can see that. Let me put this phone back on a stand so my hands are free. Check it out. probably can't see it on the camera, but there's loads of ridges here, and then this is the tapali, and so you grind like this in there. This is a slightly bigger one, more common, black Asanka pot, same thing. But yeah, I love my Asanka. I love Asankas. I wish everybody had one. What inspires you to do? Oh, you said that. No, done that. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Another cookbook. Yes, please. I've just submitted a treatment for a book. Actually, I'm hoping that will be bought by somebody. I want to do a book that celebrates all of the amazing chefs around the world, in the diaspora and on the continent of Africa, who are contributing to this new wave of African cuisine. And by that I mean, there's some cultures like Italian and French who've had hundreds and hundreds of years to develop their cuisine. West Africans haven't had that space for reasons of colonialism and slavery and, etc. And, in the last 10 years, I have seen this amazing, it's like 100 years work in 10 years, some people, Chef, Eric Ajipong, Chef Binta, Selassie, Kwame, Shola, Kes Cravings, Maria Bradford, Chef Freg's, so many, Michael Legby. There's just a fantastic number of amazing chefs now pushing this cuisine to its nth degree, really just showing the world that this is world-class cuisine. Anyway, I want to showcase those people and those recipes. Take me on a food tour and hook me up with one of your friends. Do you know, I might be doing some food tours. A Coco, yes, BMST group, it is a Coco. Take me on a food tour, and I might be doing some food tours later this year to Ghana, so stay posted for that. Hi, Amber. Hey, babe. Hello, Ava. Who's this? Experienced baker here. Do you know of any or recommend any pastry schools in the UK or elsewhere in Europe? Baking isn't my forte. Who would I recommend you to go and ask about that? I'm going to suggest, what kind of, how experienced are you is the thing. Check out, do you know my friend Selassie? He won Bake Off about, it feels like 10 years ago, but I don't know, maybe 5 years. Baked by Benji, Selassie, hit up those accounts, Marchand. In fact, send me a DM and I will send you some names of people who professional patisserie and bakers. They'll help you out. Love the cookbook concept. Thank you, Monica. I hope the publishers do too. Advice on leaving corporate restaurant job and introducing ethnic food. There's a lot wrong with that sentence already, so you should also DM me. We'll talk about that. Someone dudes me. I don't know what that means. Did you find it difficult to write your cookbook based on your dual heritage? As a second generation American, sometimes I feel like we're viewed as not American, not enough, or X enough. Yeah, that's a really interesting question. I didn't find it difficult based on my dual heritage, but I tell you what was interesting to navigate was, and I spoke about this in an interview earlier today, was being mixed race and not wanting to be seen by the Ghanaian audience as appropriating a culture, even though even though it is half my culture. I mean, it's all my culture because you can't cut bits out of yourself. But that was something that I had to navigate for myself internally. It's like, do I have a right to do this? Is this okay? And that was a bit of a process, a journey I went on myself. And partly why I took myself back to Ghana so that I could root myself in that, in that sense of understanding, and also to have a good sense of what was traditional and what was, for want of a better word, I hate the word authentic, but I needed to see what food was a bit like now in Ghana, where I was, I had to meet myself, if you like, where I was, and then I wanted to learn and develop and grow so that I felt confident that that wasn't what I was doing, Anyway, the cookbook's name is Zoe's Ghana Kitchen. Where are these chefs? They're all over the world. Kez is out on the west coast, Michael's in Nigeria, Bintas in Ghana, Selassie's in Ghana, Kwame's in Washington, Kith and Kin, Shola's in Philadelphia. Yeah, they're all over the road. What are... Oh, top. You're in NY. Yes, I'm in NY now. I live between London and New York, but I'm in the process of emigrating to New York, actually, to America. Just waiting for my green card. Lorato, she thoroughly enjoys grinding in a sanka, very therapeutic. Everybody go and check out Lorato Foods. She does some excellent West African and Pan-African recently dishes. Do you plan? Yes. I mean, I plan on writing many more books, to be honest, but I've got to get one off the ground first. Oh, the woman doesn't like veggies. Wow. Do you know what? You should join some of my plant-based and vegan classes up on zoesghanaKitchen.co.uk. When people say they don't like vegetables, I think they mean that they haven't had vegetables cooked well, because, you know, what's not to love about good, fresh veg? Ams is saying he's my biggest fan, but I've never heard of him. What would be your career path? Oh, we did that one. Thinking about going into the restaurant business. Is that you, or I'm confused by the question? To the guy, A.G. Castillo, okay, leaving corporate restaurant. Please don't call, whatever the food is that you're trying to cook, don't call it ethnic food, like call it what it is. Where is it from? That's your starting point. And American masses, you know, from a marketing point of view, I'll tell you now that you need to define who your audience is. So you need to define what the food is you want to cook, and then you're going to have to be really confident about explaining why you want to cook it and what your relationship to it is. I think I just posted a video about this on my Instagram at Zoe Adjonyoh, the difference between cultural appropriation and appreciation. You know, so you're going to have to fight a tide there to really decide, you know, do you have a right to be doing what you're doing? Not a right, but, you know, just think a little bit more deeply. I'm concerned because you've said ethnic foods, but, you know, I'm sure you've thought it through a bit more than that. But, yeah, like I said, message me if you want to talk about that. And please spell your name. Oh, Zoe Adjonyoh. Okay, what's happening down here? People are trying... No, guys, I can't do that. Questions. I've almost forgotten how to do a live. It's been so long. I think we're out of questions, are we? Any more questions? All right, so let me tell you about some stuff I've got coming up then. Right, so what's happening? Ghana Kitchen is having a little bit of a facelift, so hopefully in a couple of weeks we'll have a new website. We've just hired some new team members to help us with social media and community management. At the moment, it's just me and my wife who do everything, basically. Poor Sarah does most of it, honestly. She manages the shop, she fulfills the orders, she does the social media, she does so much, and she's like my executive PA, and she's like recipe developer, recipe editor. You know, she does everything. She's a force. I'm blessed to have her. Anyway, so we're hiring a couple of people part-time to help us out with that, which I'm excited about. I'm launching a new brand this year, which is going to put health and wellness through an African lens. Very excited for that one. And, you know, Black Book, please go and check out blackbook_2020. It's a side project I co-founded with Anna Suling Massing. And that we created as a nod, actually, to black food folks and, you know, Radical Exchange and all these amazing, you know, black and BIPOC-led community groups here in the States that I came across a few years ago and was really invigorated and inspired by, and I wanted to do something similar in the UK. COVID gave me the space, since my catering company pretty much collapsed because I didn't get any government funding as a self-employed director of my company. But, you know, fuck them. Excuse me for swearing. Oops. But but it gave me the gift of space to think about other things that I care about, and so that's why I've been able to open a spice shop and have that conversation. I was able to launch Black Book, which is a platform for thought leadership around these ideas of what is inclusivity, and what should it be in food media, in hospitality, and in the food space generally. And there's lots of intersections around that: decolonising, sustainability, access to wealth, finance, etc., etc. But check out Black Book if you're interested in all those things, and follow us. We're going to be starting a podcast this year. I'm starting a podcast this year, Cooking Up Consciousness. I have a clubhouse called Cooking Up Consciousness by the same name, and I'm going to use that platform to talk to all the amazing people. I'm a chef and a writer and all these things, but because I'm all of these things, I have lots and lots of interests. So what I care about is people who raise consciousness in the area that they work in. So whether it's entrepreneurship or mindset or spirituality or wellness or health and nutrition or food, from styling to cooking to all the different variations there, where people are doing the work to lift up other people, or they're doing the work to raise consciousness somehow, or they're doing the work to fight capitalism and white supremacy and those kind of systemic structures. I want to shout out those people and hear their stories and share their stories, because they're inspiring and they will encourage, I hope, other people to get involved and do the same. I think the world is at a place where full-on capitalism is not quite what we need 24/7. Please allow me to talk more on the matter. Who is that? I'm not sure what you mean. PPP, just changed that. You can reapply as self-employed under new PPP guidelines. I'm in the UK, so I don't think that applies to me. Chef Jeff Fritz, how do you do the research for your cookbook? Did you do personal interactions with members from the different cultures or history books? I'm working on a cookbook now, but on ancient cuisine. How did I do the research for my cookbook? It's worth saying that when I did the cookbook, I was already like 6 years into my professional cooking, if you like, and well, that's not true, 4 or 5 years, but so I already had an army of recipes. How I acquired that army of recipes was talking to lots and lots of Ghanaian women and West African women at the African markets in London, so Brixton, Peckham, mostly Ridley Road, which is the nearest one to me. I would go down, talk to them about the ingredients, talk to them about what they use them for, and lots and lots of conversations about how I could adapt or use them in different ways. And then, as I said, I went to Ghana. I went to the source, to reset and navigate what was there. And I'm so glad that I did, because I had a very limited understanding, based on my dad's cooking a lot, and he used to cook a lot out of tins and things like that. So I thought there would be a real shortage of fresh ingredients, and I was very wrong. There is an abundance of beautiful, fresh, leafy greens. Most diets are plant-based. And because I was in Accra, I had that Atlantic Ocean, so I had access to, in Jamestown, watching all that the fishermen bringing in barracuda and shrimp and octopus and all these amazing seafoods that I just didn't know were available in Ghana. So it really opened up and expanded my knowledge of what was available, but also, travelling through Volta and realising the nuances there, the differences, where it became very much more tilapia focused because of the Lake Volta. It's only pike and tilapia that are in there. And then the further north you got, the more fermented the foods were, and so wherever possible, go to source, and definitely go to people who are from the culture if you are not. Absolutely. And just read as much as you can and ask as many people as you can. I'm not sure where. How can we hack Facebook? My life's pretty sweet. So I'm kind of running out of time, I think. AJ sent me a DM. No worries, mate. I'll hit you up probably tomorrow because I've had a long day. But oh, hang on, you're from Clubhouse, aren't you? Chef's Corner. I will reply to your DM in the morning. And what's left to say? Goodness. Well, that's it really. I am always open for conversation. If you want to ask me anything, feel free to send me a DM. I will get back to you as timely as I can. Please check out my other, my business pages at Ghana Kitchen, and check out at blackbook_2020. Look out for Cooking Up Consciousness coming on soon. Follow me on Clubhouse at Zoe Adjonyoh. I'm going to be having lots and lots of amazing conversations with lots of amazing people. On Monday, we've got a session at 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. EST talking about cultural appropriation versus appreciation, an extension of the video I posted a couple of days ago where we're going to get a little bit more in depth on that. It's obviously a very complicated, unwieldy topic, and it's not easy to navigate. While in principle it seems simple, there are many, many layers, and the video I put out wasn't meant to give anybody permission for anything. It was simply to be sort of guidance tool. But what I will say about that, there's been, anyway, actually I'm not going to bang on it. I'm running out of time. So what you should do is join us on Clubhouse. I'm talking with Preeti Mystery, Ali Rosen, Charlie Chen, who else? Nana is coming. There's going to be lots of great voices in there with lots of different perspectives. So please check that out. The Decol Kitchen, part of Cooking Up Consciousness Clubhouse on Monday, 4 till 6 p.m. EST. And thank you all for joining this live, and thank you for all the amazing questions. I think somebody asked me about restaurants. I used to have a restaurant in Brixton. I don't have one currently. I am of the view that I will probably open some restaurants in New York, once I have permission to do so by the US government, and obviously finance to do so. So hi, investors, if you're ready for the best Ghanaian food in the world, I'm also ready to help you deliver that to America. Anyway, thank you all for your time and your lovely questions. And yes, please go follow me at Zoe Adjonyoh, at Ghana Kitchen, at Black Book 2020. And lots of love to you all, and happy cooking, happy eating, and rest well. All right, bye-bye.